If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes. It'll all change for you. Start from scratch, start from obscurity, start with pennies, start with nothing, and have a chance to transform your life, change your life, set your goals, and see what you can accomplish. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion, not to do what someone else says. Take what someone else says, process it, think about it, ponder it. If it makes you wonder, if it makes you think, then it's valuable. Then when you go take action, make sure that the action is not what somebody told you to do. Make sure the action is the product of your own conclusion. If you'll follow just a little bit of those simple guidelines, telling you the learning process can be speedy, swift, powerful. Your learning curve can go up, and then applying it to your business, your life, your family, conversations, equities of all kinds. You'll find some progress like I did that first 5 years when I met a teacher willing to share with me, turn my life around. Progress I couldn't believe happened for me. I used to blame the traffic, the weather, used to blame circumstances, right? People say I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too old. I was raised in obscurity, raised on a farm, parents of modest means, all the stuff. If you were to ask me, how come you find yourself here, Mr. Rohn, age 25, living in America, land of abundance and opportunity, pennies, zero in the bank, not doing well, creditors calling, it would not have occurred to me to blame my philosophy. I found it easier to blame the company policy. I used to say, if this is all they pay, how do they expect you to do well? So I figured that, my future was going to be tied to what everybody else was arranging, the economy and, right, interest rates. I used to say things cost too much. That was my whole explanation, not my philosophy, until my teacher taught me better that this is where the problem was, my own personal philosophy. Here's what's exciting about each person's personal philosophy. That's what makes us different than dogs and animals and birds and cats and spiders and alligators. That's what makes us different than all of the life forms. The ability to think, the ability to use your mind, the ability to process ideas, and not just operate by instinct. In the winter, I'm telling you, the goose can only fly south. What if south doesn't look too good? Tough luck. It can only fly south. But see, human beings are not like a goose, can only fly south. I mean, you can turn around, go north, you can go east, you can go west, you can order the entire process of your own life. So hopefully you'll find some inspiration here today.
Hey Joey, and welcome everybody to Freedom, Health and Lifestyle. And of course, this is episode 142. And of course, look, we're going to get into something a little bit different here today. I'm hoping, let me see, Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, Personal Development, the Business Plan, episode 142, starting your own business, and the 3 things that you must have. Now, I'm excited to hear from Joey about this actually. But what this is all about is thinking and doing better. And that was obviously a little video that I played at the beginning, Joey, a little bit different than normal. Still going to play out with the usual, but I wanted to play that one because it was really about, setting the scene for, changing your life, and that's what thinking and doing better is all about, because we all want better. It doesn't matter what kind of better, that you're looking for, better health, better circumstances, better relationships, better finances, it really doesn't matter. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the notification button, and you'll learn when we're on, usually around about the same time every week. And of course, with that, what I want to do is bring in my good friend, Joey, the $1 Million Difference Maker, Maka Unga. Say hello, Joey.
Hi, Mike. Good day, everyone. This is Joye Maka Unga here from Sydney, Australia. Always a pleasure to be here and to be on a journey together with Mike McKillian on this journey. This program has been become from a thoughts, and then we executed, and and it's been 142. so far, and more to come. But I'm very, very grateful to be here. Unfortunately, last week I was not make it to the podcast last week, but I'm so grateful that Mike McLean still share with you some variable insight about how our journey can be impact by some outer force or maybe some internal force, but it come back to us to make a decision whether we choose to go with what the devil said. Mike, I always think that the devil is the one with the little fork and spiky ear, but the devil is with us all the time, and it goes back to my journey when I was young. I heard a quote from the church is the spirit and the flesh are all mingle all the time, and they go to war all the time. And it's up to you to choose which side you decide to do. But I'm so grateful for you, Mike, and thank you for having me tonight. I'm so grateful, to be back in the podcast tonight.
Amazing, Joey, and it's always grateful that you're here. Now, don't forget you can find Joey, on his Facebook page, right? $1 Million Difference Maker. There he is, and look, produces lots of great content. Give him a follow for sure. And of course, you can also find him on his business page, on his health and wellness business page. And again, you can find him here. You'll know you're on Joey's page because it says his name at the very top, right? Link is in the description. It's on the screen right now. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, you will see a contact form here. All you need to do is put in your name, best email address, good time to call, press submit, and I'm sure Joey will reach back and let you know what he's doing and maybe how you can get involved too. So, of course, if you're looking to find me, you can find me, at the petsofthesisland.com /academy website, and here where we're helping people start their own businesses and keep 100% of your earnings. I love it. I love that we can do that. And again, you can reach out, you can book a call with me, and it's just a straightforward 30-minute discovery call, to figure out whether this is right for you. And if it is, great. And if it's not, listen, I'll be the first to tell you. I don't want to waste your time or mine. I'm sure Joey feels the same too. All right. But look, don't forget, drop us a comment, reach out, and we're happy to try and help. Let's see if we can get rid of this. Right, Joey. So obviously, this is about starting your own business. 3 things that you must have. Right now, the first thing. Let me have a look. The first thing that you've got to have is that you need something of value that genuinely helps people, right? So obviously I'm in the service industry business, where, when people ask me what is it that we do, I tell them that we help people feel better about something that makes them feel bad. That's really what we do. Certainly in line with their pets, or I say, if you said, Mike, if we were standing in a queue and we were having a conversation and that topic came around to him, Mike, what is it you do? I might say, well, look, I help pet owners feel like the best pet owner in the world by giving them a less hassle, less stress, guilt-free like, wow, what is that? But, it's built on service and it's about helping someone feel better about something that makes them feel bad. And and other products that we have, so obviously we're primarily a service-driven industry, but we do have bolt-on products, that people can also buy. They're in line with that same, helping someone feel better about something that makes them feel bad philosophy. Now, tell us about the businesses that you're involved in, Joey, and how they help people.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. With our business, our main goal is to make an impact in the health of the world, and we also help people, free people from physical and financial pain. And I think that's the short answer for that. But we are a solution-based company that we represent, and we have product and opportunity that can help free people up from physical and financial pain. And you and I haven't been living proof of that product. It adds value to our life. It changes the way who we are. physically, mentally, and spiritually. And also the community that we build from that, that's where we still continue on to promote and to share with other people.
And Joey, I don't want to get into the why,
Mm.
but and we will get into. In fact, we're not going to get into the why now. We'll get into the why later, right? But you know, you've got this thing that genuinely helps people, and you want to share that with. And to be honest, all you do is, to be honest, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, Joey. Everybody has to, if you've got a shop on the high street, you're relying on people walking through the front door. You're going to put banners in the window, offers in the window, things like this. You're going to advertise on the radio, on the television, advertise on Facebook, TikTok, social media, and everything else. It's all about, attracting people, to that offer so that they're going to make a purchase. And then when they make a purchase, yes, they're going to have this thing. It's going to make their life better, right? It's either going to help them lose weight, increase energy, have better skin, look and feel better, whatever it is. In my business, it's really about, someone's feeling guilty about something that's happening in their life, and we're trying to remove that guilt. Maybe they feel bad asking their mother or brother or sister again to do something for them. And service like ours is designed to empower them, to help them be back in charge, and of course, the second part to this, right? So it doesn't matter what you have, you have this goal, there's something that somebody wants out of it. There's something that you've got to get out of it, so you need goals and rewards, certainly that keep you focused, on, moving your business forward, being motivated, having a mentor, having a coach and everything else. But for the likes of that customer, what is the reward for that customer who gets involved with you?
Yeah, first of all, if a customer is open-minded to take a look, then we always start with a conversation, build a relationship. We want to know if there any struggle in their life, if there anything like you just said, some people want to maybe go away, but they kind of like find it hard to ask someone close to them to look after their pets. That's a struggle. There's a problem there. There's a need there, and I think that's what I learned in our professional, that one of our goal is to ask questions to people to find out what is the need, and not all the people that we talk to need to lose weight or need to improve their health. They, most of them, they already, like the people I go to the gym, and those people are good. They have good physique, already, well look after their health, but they don't have the enough income to, to, all they know is just go to work, go and squeeze workout between that. But they don't have the income to maybe take their family for a whole day, and that's the good thing. We're not only focused on the physical part of the people, but we help with the financial side and the psychologist side. And some people, they just alone. They don't have people to talk to, when they, and some people move away from where they used to originally grow up, like myself, and they find a community that they welcome them open-hearted, and and you can tell them from their conversation, from their body language, that they are lonely. They want to be in a community that uplifting them, praise them when they win something in life, whether it's small or big. And that's why, in our professional, in our business in our company, people who open-minded to take a look, they will explore the other benefit from our company, not only physically, financially, but I believe in come to psychology and spiritually, a great environment. They will surround themselves with people that they want them to win.
Joe, that makes a lot of sense. Just make me, when I think about, how I was, like growing up, and just leaving school, going straight to work, going into construction. My dad worked in construction. I love my dad. My dad's my hero, right? And that's
Mm,
all I wanted to do. And then, I came across network marketing, in my early 20s. And the company, that I was involved with, in fact, like, some friends were involved, family members were involved, like, and it was like, right, okay, I don't want to miss out. Like, I don't
mm,
even know what this is. I had no idea what it was anyway. I just didn't want to miss out. Everybody's talking about getting rich and all this kind of stuff. And, oh, this is easy. Do you know what I mean? You only need to find 6 people, like, and it was like,
yeah.
right, what are you talking about? I've got no idea what you're talking about. You had to do 200 BV, or PV every month. That was the kind of thing that you had to do. Yeah, and if you're watching and you don't know what this is, like every product or service has a points volume, attached to it. That's the way it works. To
Mm,
qualify for different rewards, you have to do a certain amount of personal volume or business volume. Business volume is what your group does. So the people that you introduce, they're doing a personal volume. That personal volume counts towards your business volume. The greater your business volume, the more money you can earn, and the greater the rewards you can receive and recognition that you can receive. Fairly straightforward, very, very simple. But now I understand it now, but I didn't understand it back then, right? And like, but you kind of can get swept away with it too. And the company that I was involved in, they had all kinds of different products. They had Tupperware products, they had kitchen products, they had cleaning products. They had bathroom products, toothpaste, shampoos. They had everything. I mean, everything. There was a catalog
mm,
that thick of what you could. So but I think, and even though that company is still around today, and I still think that they're the number one company, in the industry, only through longevity. They've been around the longest. Do you know what I mean? And I was talking with one of their Diamond Direct, distributors just a few short weeks ago, and obviously the company has gone up but it's also come down as well because there's peaks and troughs in everything. Um, but it's fascinating that now you have these companies, certainly like Isogenics, like Herbalife, like Juice Plus,
mm,
which specialize in just
mm,
one niche to solve a problem for somebody, and that's what it does. So when we're talking about having this something of value that genuinely helps people, that's why you can talk about the Herbalife Isogenics products, the meal replacement products, the energy products and things like this. So whether, and again, there's tailored specifics within it. So you have sports performance within that. So for those people that are at the gym and they want to improve their sports performance, their recovery, at the gym, there are products for that. For people who want to lose weight, there are products for that too. But again, you know, you've got to have this something of value, and that something of value sometimes, isn't the product. It can be the person. It can be you.
mm.
You can be the difference maker for that person. You know, because without you, firstly, they're probably not going to get involved.
Yeah,
Without you, they might not stick around.
yeah.
And without you, they might not, get the result. you
Mm,
know, and that's what makes you the difference maker, because you are actually, you know, putting them on the train, and then when they fall off the train, you're there to pick them back up and put them back on the train. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a journey for that
yeah.
person. They're trying to
Yeah,
get to a position, they're trying to get to a place that they can't do it by themselves. They
correct.
still do, but it's harder. It's
Yeah,
harder by themselves.
yeah.
But then with a community of like-minded people, where you have people who are already on that same train as you, but maybe just a little bit further up the tracks. They
Mm,
can teach you, they can guide you, they can help you, you
yeah,
know, and and the goal is obviously, let's just say, for example, if you want to lose 30 pounds, the goal is to lose 30 pounds, and you can have this clearly kind of set out in your destination, you know, like, so, whatever that might be. But again, like you say, the benefits are that yes, you can improve your lifestyle, but it's, well, you can improve your health, but it's not just your physical health, it's also your financial health. If you want to.
Yeah.
You're not forced to, no one's making you do it, but you get the option that if you want to, you can become a consultant, and you can become a difference maker, and you can choose to share these products and the opportunity, and it can be one or the other, and it can be both, with other people, and as a result, you're going to get, upset, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get rejected, you're going to lose your way,
Yeah.
you're going to get disorientated and turned around, and this is where having those coaches and mentors and having that community can really, really help, right, to keep you focused, on what it is that you really want. And that's the question that always gets asked: what is it do you really want? Because when I think about network marketing, Joey, and it doesn't matter. It could be any business. It doesn't have to be network marketing. It would just be any business. That business is just a vehicle to get you from where you are to where you want to be.
Absolutely.
Right? That's all it is.
Absolutely.
That's all that is. I don't care what business it is, but it has to have something of value. It has
Absolutely.
to. People aren't going to buy fresh air from you. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're living on Mars. And then you've got a real benefit. If you've got fresh air and you live on Mars, if you've got fresh air, you could sell it all day long. You'd be quite wealthy. So, but here on Earth, you've got to have something of value. You've got to have something that makes a difference in that person's life. Whether it's a physical difference, a mental difference, whatever it is. Does it give them more time? Does it save them money? Does it, make them look and feel better? Which is self-esteem, again, mental. Do you know what I mean? Does it give them confidence? Absolutely. So, like I love network marketing. I do. I love it, which is why I'm gonna network market, our business. That's one of the reasons why I'm getting involved in that aspect, because I really want our philosophy, because I think I know that our philosophy makes a difference for our customers. Because it's all about service, it's all about helping someone feel better about something that makes them feel bad, and again, it gives them more time, it gives them more flexibility, it gives them more freedom to be able to go and do the things that they want to do without feeling guilty or beholden to somebody else. It completely empowers them. And I think that we can certainly, take that around the world and teach others, in this industry, how to do exactly the same thing, and also teach others to do the same thing too, so that we can share that philosophy, that knowledge, and those systems that we have. Because, we're talking about systems here, which brings us on to that third point, Joe. But before we get onto that third point, I really want you to touch more on the goals. Yes, you've got goals for your customers, your own goals, the rewards that come from it, what keeps you focused. I want to hear what keeps you focused, before we get onto the why, because the why will be the big one, right? But what keeps you focused, motivated, and moving forward, right?
Yeah, you know what? When you share your thoughts before, there's something coming to my mind, and you talk about when a customer come to buy something from our company. For example, traditionally, if someone comes to the supermarket to buy, let's say, a protein powder from the shelf, and they buy the protein powder and they just take it home, they use it, and whether it's going to help them or not. But the special thing with our professional is when a customer open to come and buy a product through you, that customer not only have the product, but he has you or me as a coach, as a friend, and as a mentor that can imagine a lot of people buy stuff from the supermarket and they never been given opportunity to say, if you really like our ice cream, if you share them with other people, you can get commission and you get financially reward for doing that. But the difference with network marketing, the people who involved with, they see things that other people don't see, and that it's very important that that's why we need to educate the people to understand they're not buying the product, but they're buying the person who promote or share with you the product, and you and that person become friends, and that person can become a coach, and then or mentor or accountability, and then you can build something together, and you can build something for yourself, for your family, and that person can get a benefit out of it because he helped you on the journey. So get back to the goals. Goal is very important, and I think without a goal, it's like a boat without a rudder. And we talked about last week about drifting. That's why a lot of people drifting, because there was no goal when they start something in life. They said, "Okay, I want to join the army," but they don't have a goal. I want to join Isogenic, but they don't have a goal. You know, what keep me in Isogenic and what keep me in the army? I have a goal. I look back at my journey and I realize how very fortunate I am that Australia accepted me as their citizen. And when I built my family, built my life here in Australia. My kids is growing up, and I said it's time to give back to Australia in the form of service. And that's one of my goal is to give back to Australia, to the country he adopted me as an immigrant, to be part of the system, to be part of their wealth and abundance. And I came here with nothing. Now I have things in life because of what this country has presented to me. And I was one of those people that see things and appreciate it with gratitude and don't take it for granted. And when I have things because of the opportunity this country gave me, I realize how very fortunate I am. That's why I did army, to give back. That's my main goal, is to give back to our nation, to our community, to our people, everywhere I go. And every time I put the uniform, I represent the organization, because it's a professional organization. You can learn about leadership, you can learn about the engineering skill, you can learn about how to become a team leader, you can learn about how to do technical combat role and stuff like that. There's a lot of benefit. I know a lot of people don't see what I see, but because I have a goal and I have a purpose, why I do that. With isogenic, it's going back. Sorry, Mike, I'm just gonna put my charger on. Excuse me. Sorry, Mike.
No, make sure it's plugged in.
Yeah. Yeah, we with isogenic, back my story, 6 years ago, I had a major event, heart attack. That's come from, I was saving others, including my family, but I didn't save my health. I was working for a job, I was a dad, and I'll come home, I get changed, I go to church, activities, and, try to accomplish, occupy some of my role in our community. And I know for sure when I look back at my health, um, I get to a point where I am in the hospital because I look after other people, but I didn't look after my health. And that's when I start to realize, to be able to serve better, it doesn't matter whether it's in family, church, or business, or community, I have to be healthy. And health is the most important gift that I have in life. That's why when I transition my life and I transform my life, and I always, I think I shared with you, I was on the bus one day going 1.5 hour travel to work. And I was kind of like said, in my 40s, I didn't know whether it's 40 or 41, 42, 43. But I said to myself, I'm going to, start investing in real estate. I'm going to have my own business. I have no idea. But I just kind of like paint the picture in my mind, this is what's gonna happen to me when I'm getting to my 40s. I'm not gonna be like this all the time, travel long hours and spend more time away from home than with my family. That's when isogenic show up in my life after I went through the journey of heart attack and I've been in hospital. and get my health checked, and then I realized, you know, what this company has done for me is give me an opportunity to be being healthy again, give me an opportunity to have a great environment that encourage me to stay healthy all the time, and it's give me an opportunity to earn income, from home, and everywhere I go, I can take it with me. I can talk to people and tell my story, and I can earn commission, when they join the business. So, my goal is, and that's why I keep me in the gym, because what happened to me can happen to anyone. But I realize in my journey and my personal experience, it's not what happened to you or me, but it's what you can do, or what is your response to what happened to you and me. Whatever happened to me can happen to anyone. But my wish, and one of my goal is promoting my work, because I know, what we're promoting can help transforms people's health, can help them lose weight, can help them have clarity, can help them relieve some stress from their life, because of the high quality product that we have. And I said to myself, my goal is, if I can only change one person at a time while I'm still in this world, to avoid them from going to hospital in an emergency in cardiac arrest, I think I did a good job living in this world. And I think that's the goal. And like you said, Mike, network marketing is simple, but it's not easy, because you still have to do the work. You still have to show up. You still have to put in to learn some new skill. You have to talk to people. You have to develop yourself to overcome fears, overcome objection, overcome rejection, because it's like what happened to the 12 disciples. Jesus told them, when I leave this place, you're gonna carry on the work. But don't expect for people to hand you in or open the door for you freely. No, you have to go through persecution. You have to go through some hardship. You have to go through prison in time. But the people who get the victories, the people who stay on in life and never give up in life. And I think, my heart is, everywhere I go, I hope that people will see what I see, because I was in that position of lowest point of my health. Gotta be two way. Either I'm gonna be back home, or I'm gonna be passed away. But when I go back, and I said to myself, if I left this world with unfinished business, who's gonna look after my family? Who's gonna, take my kids on holiday? Who's gonna pay my bill? Who's gonna, build a legacy? And that's why every single day. Don't get me wrong, it's hard, but the journey is all about the journey. It's all about the journey. And like I always said in my Facebook, life is not about happiness, but happily achieving happiness. And I think it's come down to the journey. If you keep working on yourself, do the right thing, share with an open heart, and knowing that what you share with people can make an impact, whether it's health, financial, or spiritually, you know, you're living a good life. And I think Jim Rohn said, and I'm glad that you play Jim Rohn, because Jim Rohn has been part of impact in my life. And Jim Rohn said, life, he says something about living a good life. Living a good life mean, every day, you provide value to this world. You have a goals. And not only that, but you know why you're doing things in life. Because when you understand those three concepts that Mike has shared with us tonight in our program, you know, um, gotta know you provide values to people, whether through the way you talk to people, you have something to give to the people, or some kind of service. Give service, give value, give value all the time. When you open your mouth, that's my intention, Mike. You know, it's to give value to people. When I open my mouth to talk to people, my intention is and I ask God, God, help me to give value through the words that come out from my mouth. Let be let be your words and your service come through me to other people's, because I know God give me another chance to do some marvelous work in this world, and that's why I'm keeping going, because I know it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Yeah, Joey, you're absolutely right. And when I think about what you're talking about there, look, let's say that that I want to lose 30 pounds, and I come across your website, and I come across your story, and I think, do you know what? Yeah, I think I could work with Joey. And then I reach out to you, and you make a recommendation. You have a conversation with me. That's what you're talking about. You have a conversation with me. You're finding out, what my goals are, what it is that I want. Do I have an event to go to? Is that the reason why I want to get in better shape? Maybe I'm getting married, or maybe I've got an anniversary or a birthday or something coming up, Christmas, with family or whatever, and you can make a recommendation for products, and then it's up to me to choose. But then that additional value that you bring, with coaching on day 1, day 3, day 5, day 7, or whatever it is, to get me to my first goal, the end of my first week, where I'm going to weigh myself and find out how much I've lost, and then when I have made a positive kind of, I have made a positive kind of contribution in that week, and I can start to feel the results. Maybe my trousers are a little bit loose or whatever. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And I get that gives me, that reinforces my belief and my confidence. That I can do it. And then of course being with you, and you guiding me and encouraging me and talking to me, and maybe poking me a little bit and pushing me. Do you know what I mean? Meeting me where I need to be at, because not everybody's going to be the same. Somebody's going to need an arm around them. Somebody's going to need a kick up the arse. And, you're going to find that out in the beginning, what way I want to be treated or whatever else. Do you know what I mean? When I do fall off the wagon, because I'm going to, everybody will, and everybody does, but how do you want me to treat you? Do you know what I mean? So that, right, okay, Mick can handle it. Look, come on, let's get the fuck on with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you messing around? It's okay that you've done that, but that's in the past. Let's go again. Do you know? So, and it doesn't matter whether it's business opportunity presentations, or whether it's weight management, or health and fitness. Doesn't care. It doesn't matter. So it's that something of added value that you bring to the table. Yep, amazing products. Without them, they're not going to sell themselves. If they did, they wouldn't need you, right? So, but they've got amazing products that work, that high quality ingredients and everything else. Every company has them, right? But we're the person who's charged with promoting them, sharing them, talking about them, using them, being a product of the product, right? But you're bringing that added value, and then of course, we're setting goals, personal goals, business goals, all kinds of things. And this brings us on to the last, and I think is the most important thing. And I don't care whether you're doing network marketing, whether you're starting your own business, don't give a shit. Don't give a shit what you're doing, right? In fact, I don't care if you've just got a great job or a job that you hate. The most important thing is why you're doing it. Why are you doing it, right? And when your why is so strong, the what to do and the how to do it become easy. They become easy. And the beautiful thing, like when you come out of college, Joey, and you might have this, I'm going to get this great job. No one tells you what to do and how to do it. Even when you go into that job, you have to fumble the way around. You have to figure it out for yourself. Yeah, someone's kind of, no one really is trying to help you to succeed. They're just trying to help you fit in. Do you know what I mean? Keep your head down, buckle down. Do you know, but and when you start your own business, there's no one there to coach you. Like if you're opening up a store, or you're opening up an online store or whatever, there's no one there to coach you. You literally have to go and find all the information for yourself. You have to, delve through the help desk, the question, Q&As, all this kind of stuff to figure out what to do, how to do it, set it all up. And then you're still going to screw up along the way, because you're going to figure out that, I should have done this before I did this. Do you know what I mean? And, I'm ahead of myself here. Oh, how do I start again? Oh, can't start again. I have to, oh my God, I have to rebuild the whole thing. To be honest, it's going to be chaos. Now, with network marketing, don't care about the company. It could be any company, right? But if we're talking about your company, or if we're talking about my company, we have systems,
Yeah.
And systems work. People can follow systems. And it's about lots of people doing the same things consistently and deliberately. But but when I think about your system, Joey, right? It's not about me becoming you. It's about me wrapping my personality in that system,
Mm.
so that I'm evolving and learning and growing. And that's the beauty of, like the what to do and the how to do. Because when you start in network marketing, for example, whatever company you want, they give you the what to do and the how to do it. They give you the structure, the rank structure, how long, all they give you everything.
Mm.
But then you have to have the why. Why are you doing it? And now I always say, look, remember, this is just a vehicle. It's just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B. What is B? What B is your why. Why are you doing it? Do you want a new car? You want a new house? You want to go on holiday 3 times a year? You want to sack your boss? What is it? What is your reason why? Now, your reason why can also be what you don't want. I don't want to be dead at 45. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? I don't want to be
Yeah.
lying in a hospital bed. I don't want this. I don't want this for my life. I don't want this for my kids. I don't want this for my wife. Like if something happens to me, who's going to look after them? That is a strong why. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes knowing what you don't want is just as important. But most of us are settling. I talked about it last week. You get comfortable in that zone and you settle for it. You don't change. Things are okay. We're getting by. We're okay. What's your why? Why, what do you want? What do you really want? Why do you want it? I had this conversation with somebody earlier in the week, and we were talking about the why on your why. Well, why that why? Why not something else? Do you know what I mean? Well, I want that because of this. Well, why do you want that? Well, I want because of this. Oh, well, why that why? Well, I want it because of this. Like you've got to have a strong why. Because if you have a strong why, you're going to be prepared to do whatever it takes. You're going to be disciplined. You're going to put up with the rejection. You're going to put up with the naysayers. You're going to put up with all of that stuff to learn, because that's all growth. All of that is growth. Every no you get is growth. Do you know what I mean? You're growing into more. Like I remember when I was starting in network marketing and I was everywhere. I remember, we had these little videos, Joey, right? Little DVDs. And we had this challenge where I give out 100 DVDs in 100 days. I did it. I gave out 100 DVDs in 100 days. Cost me like 150 quid because I lost some of the DVDs I just didn't even get back. Do you know what I mean? I was giving them out everywhere. I swear to God, not one person joined. But but that's because my level of communication was shockingly bad. It's easy for me to give out a DVD, and then when I get it back, what do you like about it? Oh, I didn't know how to answer those objections. So I was taking the actions, but I wasn't investing in myself to learn. I wasn't getting the guidance and the coaching that I needed. No one's fault, my fault, nobody else's. Like, could I have done better? Absolutely. Did I learn from that experience? Absolutely, I did. Like, it's not that didn't work. I didn't work. Because anybody could give out videos. I was doing it. But why weren't people getting excited? Don't know. I can't tell you. Other people were doing it and, bringing in loads of people. Maybe they were better at communicating than I was. Maybe they had better intentions. Maybe that they would, maybe I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And this is one of the things for me, Joe, right? When I think about, the reason why you do something, you talked about it earlier on. You talked about intention, right? You've got to have the right intentions. In business, you've got to have the right intention. For me personally, I can only talk about me, right? So if my intention is just to try and take money from you on a transaction, there's no value in that for them or for me. I'm just robbing them. I'm just stealing. That's all I'm doing. But if my intention is to give them something and for them then to be able to, pay for that, with value, because we've added value, because we brought something to them, we've made their life better, we've made their life different, in such a way that they feel a benefit, I'm happy. I can do that all day long, Joey. Because it's about them. It's not about me. We have potential, prospects that come to us and they want to use our service. And I would say, look, maybe I like to think we're the right company for everyone, but maybe we're not right for you right now, because you can't afford it,
Mm.
and it's not that you can't afford it, it's that you can afford it, but you don't see the value in it. Yeah, because John could do it down the road for £5 or £10 or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's that you have the same problems, Joe, and anybody and everybody else in network marketing has the same problems. That when I come to you and say, hey, listen, I've got this product and service, it can do X, Y, Z. It's not a miracle cure or anything else like that, but it's great value and it really does make a difference. And someone says, well, I can get that in the shop for half that price. Yeah, but it's not the same ingredients. This is high quality. This is made from X, Y, and Z and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like in here, out here. Do you know what I mean? For that person, they don't hear it. All they hear is, well, why does that cost 30 and I can get it in the shop for 12? I'll just get it in the shop for 12. So like there are challenges. The truth is the product is not the thing you're selling for me, right? You're selling you. When a customer buys, obviously, look, we've delivered well over 500,000 pet care services to thousands and thousands of customers. Lots of those customers, they want someone to come and walk their dog while they're at work. They want someone to come and stay in their house and look after their pets while they go on holiday, But I say, look, we don't sell pet sitting and dog walking services. We sell feelings. That's what we sell. Our job is to serve that client, give them an amazing experience and help them feel better about something that makes them feel bad. And ultimately help them feel like the best pet owner in the world by giving them a less hassle, less stress, guilt-free experience, which is tailored to them, down to the little details. The little details are so important. The what they do, the how they do it, the way that it's done. And, ultimately, our customer is the expert in their situation. They know exactly what they do. They know everything about it. Our job is about being the experts at being there when they need us, following their instructions exactly without judging what they do, letting them know their pets are safe, their home secure, and it's no more complicated than that. It shouldn't be more complicated than that. It's about us giving them an experience, serving them, helping them feel better. And that's why I say that we sell feelings, because that's what it's about. And for me, like if we're coming to look after your pets or serve you, for that customer, for you as that customer, us being there can sometimes be the most important thing that needs to happen for you on that day. It's the biggest thing. Sometimes people think looking after someone's pet is an insignificant task. But for that person who owns that pet, it's the most important thing. Quite often they love that little creature more than other human beings. So it's not a small thing. It's a really big deal. And that's why doing it in a deliberate way, which is tailored and dedicated to how someone does it themselves, brings more value. It's not me turning up saying, look, I know how to do it. I'm going to do it the way I normally do it with my dogs. Everything's going to be perfect. Don't worry about it. That's in my philosophy, in my opinion, that's not what I want. What is it that I want a service from a service like this? Well, I want them to be there when I want them to be there. I want them to do exactly what I tell them. And I want them to let me know that my pets are safe and my home's secure. That's all I want. I don't want any more. I don't want you to tell me how to look after my dogs. I don't want you to tell me how to look after my cats. I already know how to do that. And the way that I do it is going to be different from the way that you do it. But it doesn't make me wrong, you right. It just means that we've got different ways of doing things. But when you come into my home to look after my pets, I want you to do it the way I do it. That's it. And and that's all it is. So, Joey, when it comes to that why, having that strong why, right? Why are you doing it? Like, why? I didn't even want to start a business. Didn't even want to do it, right? Didn't want to start this business. I was tricked into it by my wife, right? But then it very quickly became, right, serving others, making a difference for others, And the more difference that we made in other people's lives, the bigger our business got. Like we run a competition every year called Nose of Tralee. It's like a pageant. It's like Ireland's biggest pet competition. You can go and join, submit your pets. The difference that makes for people, the joy that it brings to people. We're all in a feelings business, Joey, all of us. And this is what makes you the difference maker, because when you're dealing with people, you get to change their feelings about themselves. You talked about it already, leave that person with an impression of increase. You're intentionally doing it. You're building them up from the inside out, planting seeds as you talk about, right? But what is the most important thing is the reason why you do something. The reason why you're doing it. Like when I think about me and how we're going to network transition this business into a network marketing business, I think about the people that I can help, the people's lives that we can change, the difference that we can make for them, and how it can help them turn their hobby business into a real business that's making them real money, that gets to, and not only that, how they can go on and help other people do the same, and help other people through coaching, guidance, learning the steps. Joey, there's no one who knows this more than you, from your, portfolio investment business to not having a fucking clue how to do it. Do you know what I mean? Just making the decision on the bus on the way home or the way to work, going, oh yeah, I think I'm going to start a property business, right? And then you do, right? So then, saying, do you know what? I need to get in shape, right? I need to get myself fit, right? So that I look after myself better, take care of my body better. Then all of a sudden, you come across this company and the opportunity is, I'm going to get myself in shape. Oh, and I get the opportunity to help other people do the same. Wow. Okay. Yeah, let's do this too. And now you've got multiple businesses, multiple income streams. Having a strong reason why, gets rid of the fear, keeps you on track, keeps you focused, keeps you disciplined. And that why am I doing it? Right? Talk to me about that, Joe.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. For me, I can reflect on one thing that I think that can answer that. I reflect in where I was before I came to Australia. I was the youngest in 11 siblings in the boys. I have a younger sister. And I grew up and I understand that I got nothing on my dad asset. And, to make a decision to marry my wife, move overseas, was the starting of a journey of why I get to where I am now. Because, and the reason why I said, you always go back to the start. Where were you before you get to this point in here? Everyone want to climb Mount Everest, but the people who get to the top is the people who understand why they were standing in the bottom and want to go to the top. Yeah. And that's how, for me, it's the why I came here with nothing, and I always remind myself, I will leave this world with nothing, but, what's the point of living if you don't have a goal and make a decision in life to get what you really want in life? Because I came here with nothing, and I grow up with nothing, and I moved to Australia with nothing, but and I said to myself, every time I work on my business or work on my investment, and I struggle and I stress out or kind of frustration, nothing work, I keep reminding myself, buddy, you should be grateful because where you come from, you didn't have anything. But look at you, where you are now on the journey. Why whinging? Why complaining? Because you forget where you come from. Remember, where you come from is you got nothing at all, but you have the opportunity, and God blessed me with great country to live and being part of it, and great system and also great opportunity. And I'm very grateful that I don't take it for granted, but I grasp it with two hands and run with it. And like I said, it was the decision that I make that the difference. If I didn't have the reason why I was still here, because of the decision that I make, and Bob Proctor said it many times, you don't have to know how. All you have to do is to know why you make the decision. Because I make the decision because I came from nothing. I make the decision because I want my kid to see, to look at their father as and very proud. He's not a quitter. He's a winner. He built a legacy, for all of us to carry on for the next generation and generation. So, anyone can come up with any reason why they do things in life. But for me, it goes back to where you start, you know, because when you go on your journey and you struggle and you kind of like in a roadblock, you look back. I think Steve Jobs said, "You don't connect the dot by looking forward, you looking back." And the reason why we look back because we're grateful, knowing, man, I got a great opportunity. I got a good health now. I got a good business now. I got a good opportunity now to build an empire in real estate or in network marketing. Why I have to go back to where my old one? You know, I can't lie in hospital and just being unhealthy and sick and complaining and mourning. No, I get a second opportunity to embrace life, to embrace opportunity, and I took it, you know, without hesitation. I just say, I'm gonna do this, and I didn't know where the helper, where the resource, where the where can I start. I just make that commit decision based on where I was in the lowest point of my health, in the lowest point of my life. I said to myself, "You're a lucky bastard. You came here, you know, to build a life, and you have the opportunity in front of you. You look left and right, up and down. You know, you can do anything you want in life. You just have to make a commit decision based on the reason. And my reason is always look back. That's why some of my goals I always reflect.
I've lost your sound.
Someone's trying to call me. I am very blessed to be in the position where I am because I know where I was and I know where I'm going.
That's
And
interesting.
and Mike, let me finish this one. And I don't say it was easy, right? No, it was not easy. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened over time. And it's not easy. And I still do. But I embrace it, like you said. You learn from it. No one signed up. And what happened to you, Mike, it's happened to me too. But it's not what happened to us, but it's how we react, we respond to what happened to us. You know, that make us better, that make us stronger, you know, because without resistance, without challenge, without pain, we don't grow in life. And that's why you and I embrace life because we know the more we go through challenge in life, the more our muscles growing, our skill level, our endurance are building because of those hardship, those challenge and adversity in life. Because every adversity and challenge come with a seed to make something big in life.
Joey, you're making a lot of sense there. You're making a lot of sense. Right. Okay. Look, we're going to wind this up, right? And I don't know if you want to give your final thoughts, Joey, on something of value, you know, goals and rewards, you know, and a strong why, and maybe, you can relate it to network marketing if you like, you know,
Yeah.
like I think, Joey, if someone wants to start their own business, you know, they've got to have that something of value, right? And what they think is value may not be value to the other person. Do you know?
Yeah.
But you have to bring something of value, whether it's a product or a service or whatever else. It's something of value, something that benefits somebody else. You know, and makes someone else feel a different way or whatever it is. You know, gives them something back. You know,
Yeah.
and then there's got to be goals and rewards. You know, like in your business, you know, like certainly your isogenics business, you know, like the goals for that customer is that they get to look and feel better. You know, their clothes get to fit better. You know, they have higher self-esteem, higher self-confidence. There's so many rewards, personal rewards from a business, you know, position. There's financial rewards. There's holiday rewards. There's, you know, gifting rewards. There's all kinds of rewards that you can receive for doing the work. And you know, the rewards come after you do the work. You have to put in the work, and that work is both physical, you know, and mental, working on yourself for that, to get that, to learn those new skills. It's not just about reading Jim Rohn books or Bob Proctor books or whatever. It's about technically understanding how your business works and learning the skills and how to be better. You know, but then having a strong reason why you're doing it. Remembering that network marketing, whether it's a shop on the high street, whether it's an online business, whatever it is that this business that you're starting, yes, it's got something of value. Yes, you're getting goals and rewards, and the people who are involved are getting goals and rewards. But this business is a vehicle to get you from where you are to where you want to be. That B, point A to point B. The reason why you're doing that, what is it that you want? What is it that you want out of life? Can that business give you the freedom, health, and lifestyle that you want? Can it give you that? Because if it can't, change your vehicle. Like that's what it's about. Joey, you were the vehicle that you had before you finished up in your point A, arriving in Australia, getting married, having children, working 3 jobs, bringing, your point B was a hospital bed. That's what that you didn't even have a point B, but that's where your point B was. Then that point B became your point A. This is where I am now.
Yeah.
You got on a new vehicle, and now you've got a new reason why and why you're going and where your point B is. So, right, give me we want to get Joey's final thoughts on all this, to be honest, right? So Joey's final thoughts, episode 142, starting your own business, the 3 things you must have: something of value, goals and rewards, and a strong why. Take it away, Joey.
Mike, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure for me to do this part of the show. And sometimes I ask myself, why me? But here's the thing. I'm gonna share with you on behalf of Mike McKillen. If you are watching this, or whether it's currently or in the replay, let me tell you on behalf of Mike and myself, you have a gift. And that gift is that the value you bring to this world. So if you're watching this, there must be a reason why you're watching this program, because it's something in new is value, and you need to get out of your head into your heart and share that with the world, because someone out there is dying and is looking for that gift. And let me give you an example. That gift could be a light, and that light has been brought to this world through you, within you, to share with the world. And that light could be, and that light goals is to shine on other people's, to show them the way, to lead them to the promised land, to give them, to free them from physical and financial pain in life, to impact the health of the wealth, the wealth and the health of the world, or to help us providing a great service for other peoples that they need, to look after their pets when they're away, to give their pets the care they deserve, like, even though they're away, but there's a service to provide that care for them. That's value. And there's a lot of people out there come to this world and they didn't know they have that value. And El Nightingale said on his podcast, what happened, someone asked the question, what happened to Manson nowadays? It's not that they have coward, or they lost the blood, but they lost their way. They're not thinking. If you're watching this, I want you to really, really think. You have a gift. And there's a reason why you were brought to this world, to share that gift with the world. And that's the goal. The goal is to share. If you don't share, you don't have value. When you share the goal, when you share your value, your gift with the world, that's when the value is transacting. There's a transaction. And the last one, it's always remind yourself to be grateful, to be humble, knowing that you were brought to this world for a purpose. And that purpose could be, give someone a service, provide someone a service to make their life better, to make them feel good, to make them really love themselves again. And you can provide different service, but there's a reason. The why is very important, because if you don't have the why, you don't have the reason to provide the service. So let me show you. Let me and Mike McKillian share with you our journey, our experience, that we all have a gift in life, and that gift have values, and that's the present for someone else in life, and a lot of people, they are looking for that value. Your job and my job, and that's the goal, is to share that, whether it's through providing a service or educating people, share them a book or give them some educational share. And when you share them, always remind why you share that, because you have been blessed with that gift, you have been blessed with that value, and the goal is for everyone to be benefit from that value that you have in life. Mike McKillian, thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity to wrap up our program for tonight. And I'm so grateful. This program have not only allow us to share our journey, our story, but it always remind us, give value, set a goal, and always remind ourselves why we are here in this world.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you. Do you know, to be honest, that last little bit, everyone to benefit. And that's what it's all about. As the tide rises, all the ships rise together. And that's why you are the $1 million difference maker, Joey, because that's where your focus is. It's in everyone. It's in helping everyone to be better, to get better, to have better, to be more than what they are. And I think that's what network marketing is about. That's what business is about, and it can be any business. It's about helping other people, providing them with service. And service to many lives to greatness. And a good friend of ours, Heather King, always says, shine in your service to others, and that's something that you do. But listen, amazing, Joey. Thank you so much. I love your wisdom. I really do. You make such a difference. You really do. And look, you've been watching Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, episode 142, Start Your Own Business, the 3 things you must have. And look, I'm excited. I'm excited for this week because I feel like I'm going to get real benefit this week out of the things that I'm working on. I know Joey gets benefits, every week. Do you know what I mean? Can't all be like Joey, right? Can't all be as good as Joey, right? But we can all be better. And that's what this is about, just being better. Hang on to Joey's coattails, everybody. He's going places. Right, we'll see you next week.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.